What is the highest number a computer can count to? In my last video, I went over what the highest number a person can count to was, and it was somewhere in the vicinity of like 360 million. Check out that video if you're curious as to why. But anyway, what is the highest number a computer can count to? Well, there are a few things we need to consider. Have you ever heard of the integer bit limit? If you've ever watched Minecraft on YouTube, then you probably have a vague idea of what I'm talking about. Every computer has an integer bit limit. This is the biggest number a computer can count to theoretically. Well, not really. In reality, there are many systems in place to keep the computer from reaching that limit and breaking, because otherwise a 32-bit computer would just be able to count to about 2 to the power of 31, which is about 2,147,483,648. The computer couldn't count past that, and you'd probably have some problems. But 32-bit computers are old. Pretty much all consumer computers are running 64-bit now, so 2 to the power of 63, which is about 9 quintillion, 223 quadrillion, 372 trillion, 36 billion, 854 million, 775,807. Okay then. So the highest number a computer can count to is that number. But that's also not really correct. A computer can physically count higher than that because of the programs that it's running, so, you know what? Let's just forget about bit limits for a minute and let's readdress the question. What is the highest number a computer can count to? Well, let's say you're running a program that had 0 lag, and let's say the computer was counting at its CPU clock cycle, the fastest it could possibly count. Most consumer computers have a clock cycle of about 3 to maybe 6 gigahertz. 6 gigahertz is pretty high. Mine has a clock cycle of about 4 gigahertz, which means it would technically do about 4 billion calculations every second. Of course, in reality, it's much slower due to lag and many other things, but with 4 billion calculations every second, that would mean it would take about 1/4 of a single nanosecond to count up by one integer. So great. At 1 second, it should already be at 4 billion. Okay, so how high can it actually count? Well, if we ran the computer at its max speed for its entire lifetime, then obviously its lifetime would be greatly reduced. Computer components these days last only a few years before they become obsolete, but they can physically run for many years after that. In many cases, they can run for entire decades after they've been replaced. But if we were to run at max power, then they usually fail after about 10 years of use. Okay, cool. So now we can just do some simple math. If it's counting 4 billion integers every second for 10 years, then how high would it get? Well, give me a second here. There's 315 million seconds in 10 years. And 315 million times 4 billion is about 1 quintillion, 261 quadrillion, 440 trillion. Well, okay, 1 quintillion isn't that bad, right? Still nowhere near 1 decillion, which I made a video on. So I guess that's the answer. An everyday consumer computer can count all the way up to about 1.2 quintillion before it fails. Now, I've done videos on computers counting before. Most of the people in the comments mentioned the fact that a CPU can use multiple cores to count faster, but I don't really think that should be considered. When a CPU uses multiple cores to count, that would be the equivalent of somebody asking you to count to 10, but instead of just counting to 10, you count from 1 to 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your friend counts from 6 to 10, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but you both count at the same time. So you both finish at the same time. Did you really count to 10? I mean, not really. You just counted to 5 and your friend counted from 6 to 10. You end up with the same result at half the time it would normally take, but neither of you actually counted to 10. That's kind of sort of what's going on when a CPU uses multiple cores. So I don't really take that into consideration when a computer counts. If you like this video, let me know. Comment down below what I should do next. This was just another dumb thought. I liked it though, it was fun. Okay, bye.